Galamera, Galamera, Galamera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And what a grim day it is today. In comparison to yesterday, which started off actually really quite lovely yesterday and stayed reasonably good for most of the day. I'm afraid today the weather is taking a turn for the worse. There are ominous clouds up there in the sky. I'm actually staying up on the balcony because it's rather windy at the moment and rather blustery. And I'm not sure if that might be interfering, but anyway, that is the look of the real estate this morning. Nice to see Andrew the Fridge Watkins tuning in, just looking round the corner. Oh, there's the sun, it's peeking out. Hopefully it'll burn off some of this cloud and we might actually have a reasonably decent day. But anyway, there you go. That is the state of play this morning in regards to weather. We have been forecast for bad weather actually, and it's been coming in spits and spats. And one of my stories today is all about the weather, and I will give you that story a little bit later on. But in the meantime, let's switch myself around and let's see what today's news is. Anyway, how you been? Nice to see you. Right, so here we go. This is today's news then. It's the 29th of December 2020, not long to go now. It's a Tuesday, and it's now day 52 of the lockdown. And if you're worrying about the Star of Bethlehem, you couldn't see it last night because of the cloud. It was obscured, but it's still there until the end of the year. Anyway, also another quick advertisement. Don't forget, if you're looking for accommodation for next year, got some news about next year as well. And don't get bars, apartments. They're also available for booking, and you get a 10% discount right away up until the end of February, okay, if you get in touch on the link on the Facebook page straight through to a booking engine where you can book away to your heart's content. And a few people I know have already booked already as well ready. Anyway, COVID in the last 24 hours then, we've had 472 new infections across the country. Those numbers were actually up on the day before, unfortunately. Total infections at the moment is 135,931, of which 52.4% are male people. Nobody has tested positive here on Zakynthos at the moment. However, there has been 2 new cases on Corfu. As for deaths, unfortunately, we've had 64 new deaths across Greece. Unfortunately, that number is also up. The average age of those people passing away is 79 years of age. 95.4% had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. And at the moment, the total amount of deaths at the moment due to coronavirus since it started is 4,672. When it comes to incubated patients in critical care at the moment, that's actually down slightly on yesterday. 467 people are in incubation. That's 321 male and 146 female. The average age of those people in incubation is 67, and 80.5% of those have already underlying health issues and are over the age of 70. Now, the Greek government has confirmed that the vaccination of priority personnel in Attica has gone well with the phase 1 of the programme, which basically means all the hierarchy of the country are getting their jabs first, like the Prime Minister, the members of the Cabinet, and also MPs as well. Anyway, phase 1 of the programme is extending to Thessaloniki today, Larissa, Ionia and Patras, and they are going to be starting vaccinations there today. Anyway, only for the elite, shall we say, all right, and priority workers as well. Now, the start of vaccinations for the general public, which is phase 2, that should be starting round about the 20th of January. Now, this morning, about 8:15, there was a special DHL flight which landed at Athens International Airport, and it delivered 83,850 doses of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine to Greece. Now, The Moderna vaccine is expected to be approved for use in the EU on January the 6th, after which Greece is expected to receive 240,000 doses of that vaccine in the first quarter of 2021. So that's the news at the moment in regards to COVID. Now, I've got some good news, all right. Jet2 announced yesterday an additional 135 new flights to Greece for the summer of 2021 due to the growing demand from British holidaymakers who want to enjoy the Greek sun. Although you're looking at it today, make sure you come later, all right? Anyway, the company says that it will give more options, flexibility for British travellers with 135 new flights, 4 of them from its 10 bases in the United Kingdom. Now, with Greece continuing to enjoy immense popularity with holidaymakers, the company responded quickly, adding additional flights and vacation packages to Corfu, Kefalonia, Crete, Heraklion, which is Crete, all right, Kos, Santorini, Rhodes, and of course, Zakynthos, increasing its total capacity this summer. Not only that, the company is also adding 60 additional weekly flights, which would be to 5 Greek destinations. This means extra capacity during the peak part of the summer to Corfu, Kefalonia, Crete, Heraklion, Kos, and Rhodes from Manchester. However, additional flights to Greece are also coming from Birmingham, with an extra 60 flights from there. And due to the high demand in Zakynthos, there are 6 additional flights going to come from London Stansted. Leeds Bradford will also have an additional 18 flights, giving more options for the people in Kefalonia and Kos. Anyway, Steve Heapy, the CEO of Jet2 and Jet2 Holidays, they're 2 separate companies but under the same umbrella, said demands from our customers say that flights and holidays to Greece are high in demand for summer 2021. I so hope so. I hope people have got the money. I really do. As always, we have responded quickly to demand, adding more places and vacations to 7 fantastic Greek destinations, and we know they will be extremely popular with fantastic offers as well as great options and flexibility. So my advice to you now is start checking the Jet2 website, see what the booking costs are like. I'm hoping that the holidays are going to be affordable pricing, because if they're not affordable pricing, this could put people off, especially at a time now where people are seriously looking at their finances and seriously looking at their money. I'm hoping greed is not going to take over, and it's going to be a case of let's not price ourselves out of the market. All right, Jet2, let's keep things affordable. Let's get people here to obviously enjoy the island and also to enjoy Greece in general. All right, so that's a bit of positive news that Jet2 now has put an extra 135 flights on, and extra top-ups throughout the season as well. And looking for Zakynthos. Zakynthos, actually, as far as Jet2 is concerned, we were one of the most popular destinations within the company. Okay, so let's hope that Jet2, like they always have been doing, is building on things. Don't make the mistake you made last year, where you boosted the prices up and then there was a panic to drop prices because obviously, well, things took over, what with lockdown and everything else. But we were already going into a recession last year because the hole that Thomas Cook had left hadn't been filled. All right, so please, Jet2, make it affordable. Don't price us out of the market. We know you've got to make a profit and we know you've got a business to run, but at the end of the day, don't price the market. All right, but we'll come back to that and think of all the other companies that will be using Jet2 as just a way of getting their people here with other companies who rely obviously on the likes of Jet2, TUI as well, EasyJet, just to get their clientele to their villas or to their holiday packages that they run. I think in course of Olympic, also the villa companies as well. Right, so we'll keep an eye on that, and that is good positive news. Now, finally, a little Zakynthos history for you, all right? Now, yesterday, it was 31 years ago, the ferry ship Zakynthos, which was sailing from Kyllini to Zakynthos, sank. just 800 meters away from the port of Kyllini, unfortunately taking the life of a lorry driver who drowned. Now, the story behind this was that the ship Zakynthos, which was the ferry, captained by Savas Xenophou, had sailed to the port of Kyllini in order to collect fuel tankers carrying supplies for Zakynthos. And on these special runs, they do not allow passengers to be on board. It can only be the tankers and their drivers, and maybe one passenger in the cab accompanying the driver who is allowed to actually board the ferry. And these fuel ferries run even to this day. Anyway, 15 vehicles were loaded with their respective drivers. Weather report forecast a southeasterly wind of 5 to 6 on the Beaufort scale, rising to 7. But in reality, the weather conditions were extremely worse in that area. However, the ship still sailed from Kyllini at around about 4:15 in the afternoon, and a short time later, the weather then started to deteriorate very, very badly. Anyway, at this time, the vessel then started to tilt. It was discovered that all the vehicles had actually moved to the right side of the vehicle area, which gradually led to the ship listing at a degrees of 20 to 30 degrees. Now, at the same time, both the electric and hydraulic rudder were shut down, and communications between the bridge and the engine room were also interrupted. After an attempt to restore communications, but to no avail, it was decided to change course and get the vessel back to the port of Kyllini. About an hour after the ship, which was moving with the engine still running, it reached the shore of Linica, and then it sent out a distress signal about 800 meters from the shore. Anyway, the port authorities from Zakynthos and Kyllini immediately responded. The Proteus was launched from Zakynthos. However, it was forced to turn back again because of the bad weather, and obviously couldn't make it. Shortly afterwards, the Delos also sailed from Kyllini, and half an hour later, it found the Zakynthos ferry listing, and the abandonment of the vessel was also in progress. Anyway, meanwhile, the crew and the passengers left the Zakynthos, and they could only get off the vessel in life rafts because the vessel was at such a steep angle that it made it impossible to launch the lifeboats. Anyway, master and the first engineer stayed with the Zakynthos, which by now had a slope of around about 45 degrees, hoping that they could nurse the vessel and get it towards the shallower waters. Unfortunately, at 7:30, 1930 hours, there was an explosion in the garage, and 2 sailors were actually blown overboard into the sea. Other explosions then followed, causing the ship to capsize and to sink 800 meters from the shore at a depth of 45 meters. Anyway, luckily, everyone was saved, including the 2 guys who were blown overboard, except for one tanker driver whose name was Alexandros Berikos, whose body was found the next day in the area of Kyllini, where he'd actually died from drowning. So he'd obviously got clear of the vessel and had drowned in the sea. Anyway, if you're interested, there is actually a YouTube video online where you can actually see the shipwreck as it is now. Somebody obviously did a dive on it, and there's a video. I'm not sure if there is diving allowed on the vessel, or whether people do go and dive on it, because technically somebody passed away on it, so therefore they might have said it's a kind of a grave. But anyway, have a look at it online. You can actually find it if you go to Hermes News. They did a whole story about it there, and there's also a link to the YouTube video of that vessel, which still lays to this day just off the coast of Kyllini, about 800 meters in a depth of 45 meters of water. So there you go. That is our news for today. Let's just have a quick look and see who's tuning in. Tim Crystal from Oxford is tuning in. He says, I hope you're both well. Yes, we're both well, despite the grim weather today. Hilary Rogers says, morning, Ginge. Belated Christmas wishes to you and Jane. Thank you, Hilary. Lovely to have you here. Doris Fletcher is also watching as well. I'm going to give you a quick way. Boris, nice to have you tuning in as well. Cy Grinley over there in Wendover in the United Kingdom. Nice to have you tuning in. Ex-Raf Reg buddy. Dawn Usher is also watching. Also, big shout out to Heidi Marie over there in Austria. How is the weather in Austria? Have you got snow there? Is it all lovely and romantic in Graz? Lovely place. You ever get a chance, go visit Graz in Austria. Also, just a quick reminder, Opus are doing their farewell concerts in 2021, and they're going to be finishing the year next Christmas time over in Graz for their final concerts at the Opera House. Jane and I still intend to get ourselves there for next year for their final concert. Okay, so anyway, nice to have you tuning in, Heidi Marie, and obviously I haven't got a word from Stefan yet. That's your partner. Hopefully he might be tuning in as well. Mark Pumphrey is also tuning in. Nice to have you here. Tracy Jones is tuning in. Jane McGrath is tuning in as well. Nice to see you here looking in, Jane. Sevi Maratis is also tuning in. Now, Sevi, if I remember rightly, she has a hotel down in Kalamaki, so it's nice to have you tuning in, checking out what's going on. Also, Pete Smith as well, Raffridge Buddy tuning in as well. Hilary Rogers is tuning in. Andy Spencer's tuning in, driving his truck. Andrew the Fridge Watkins says, had some light snow overnight, but it's still cold in Wales. And that's it. Anyway, just to remind you that I will be doing a request show tomorrow, Requesting Inspiration. It will be my final music broadcast of 2020. I've already started putting it together, and I've been looking at some of the #1 records of this year. Some of the most popular tunes that's been requested and played throughout the season and on my shows as well. Also, people have been sending me requests. It's not too late to stick a request in, so just pop it down below in the comments. Also, a reason why you happen to like the tune as well. That always helps. And I will endeavour to give you a shout out as well. Also as well, just to let you know, the Christmas show that I did has risen again in the charts, and it has gone from number 82 yesterday up to 62. So I was quite chuffed about that. And the show 21, that's just dropped slightly. That is now 45th in the reggae chart. So I'm still charting, which makes me feel really good. I've had a couple of more little messages from people. Ian Booth over there in Huddersfield says, morning Ginge, heavy snow here. And Hilly Rogers is clapping. It must be some good news that she's heard. And Graham Chisholm is also watching as well. Nice to have you. Oh, and Steve Hodgson from up there in Concert, County Durham. He's also tuning in. He's a firefighter up there with the boys. Nice to see he's tuning in. Oh, and of course, Amanda Gregory up the hill. She's tuning in as well. Nice to have you tuning in as well, Amanda. And that's it at the moment. That's all the quick last minute messages. But once again, don't forget, tomorrow, 3 o'clock UK time, 5 o'clock Greek time, 2 hours difference. Tune in for my very final broadcast of 2020. Hopefully 2021 is going to be a better year. Big shout out to Julie Stevens, who's tuning in as well at the moment. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that show tomorrow. Hilary Rogers says, I'm clapping because you're doing a fine job. Thank you very much, Hilary. I appreciate that. You obviously like the good news about the new fights coming and stuff like that, which is news for us all here on the island. And don't worry, I'll still keep my eyes to the ground. We'll see how things pan out. And once again, thank you for all the support as well. Greatly appreciate it. I better go now because I'm starting to burble and babble, and I don't want to make it any longer than I have to. So I will see you tomorrow morning, and don't forget, tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, last show of 2020 here from Studio 1 in Macardo, broadcasting to the world. Oh, can I just say a quick hello to Jeff Ruddy over in New Zealand. He was my very first ever person from New Zealand getting in touch on the daily blogs. I'd never met the guy, but our connection was he's ex-RAF, was stationed at RAF Akatiri, and it was the love of the theatre club that he used to attend and I used to attend there, and that's how he got in touch. So again, it is a small world out there. You never know who's tuning in, you never know who's watching. But thanks for that, Jeff, and thanks for your comments as well. I greatly appreciate it. Anyway, I better go now. I feel a bit of breakfast coming on. Catch you later. You take care and have a great day wherever you are in the world. Ta-ra.